Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by user ThrowArrayFE. I, 25 female, agreed to be a surrogate for my sister and her husband, late 30s, but I'm regretting it now. For most of my life, my sister Alice has been wanting kids, but has been unable to carry a baby to full term, in part due to endometriosis. She was in a lot of pain and had to have a hysterectomy. Alice and her husband Ben have fostered 5 children and have adopted 2 children with autism and are great parents. They have a good home environment and are financially very well off. But recently, Ben and after a while Alice were bitten by the urge to have a kid biologically related to them because they wanted a chance to do things right and provide the best start in life. Their views, not mine. So they asked me to be their traditional surrogate and said that they would cover all costs, legal, medical, etc. associated with it. They would also be paying off my student debt, renting a 2-bedroom apartment for 3 years, plus giving me a substantial amount of cash. I said, sure, it'll be 9 months of my life in exchange for being set up for quite some time, and my immediate family thinks it is a great idea. However, when I said sure, I was expecting something along the lines of IUI, where we go to the doctor to get Ben's sperm prepped, me getting shots, etc. Basically the whole artificial insemination package. But Alice and Ben have asked me to, well, get pregnant the traditional way. Their rationale is that 1, it is the cheapest way. 2, they don't want to go to the hospital given the pandemic. And 3, they think babies conceived naturally are healthier and the pregnancy would be safer without the chemicals. But I just can't get over the extreme ick factor. And even if this was going to take place at home, I think a syringe would work fine. Am I going loony for thinking of going back on my word? Is their request reasonable? My immediate family doesn't see anything wrong with it and has been congratulating my sister on her impending baby. On the other hand, if I do give it up, am I also mad for passing up what is essentially $200,000, especially in this economy now? Well, OP, in my opinion, you should definitely not be doing this. Don't do it. Just talk to your sister and tell her you're out. It is, how you say, icky. Within their 3 points of their whole argument, the only one that I somewhat seem like it's valid is the one about not going to the hospital in a pandemic. So they could wait until they do the whole IUI thing, right? One thing that I find absolutely weird regarding their whole argument is that one of the reasons for doing this at home, you know, the natural way, is that it's the cheapest way. Now, I don't know how expensive IUI is, but I understand people wanting to go cheap on it. However, they are willing to spend $200,000 on renting an apartment for you, giving you money and a whole of other stuff. And you said that they were well off, so how come this thing has to be done the natural way? That's just weird. And your sister not saying anything is also kind of weird. Now, of course, I'm not a fertility doctor, so I don't know the specifics. This just seems, like you said, icky. What about you guys? What do you guys think? Let me know your opinion in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they had to say. Limerick Leprechaun says, this is just wrong in so many ways. Who can support this method of getting you pregnant? It could take multiple attempts. How many times does Ben have to have sex with you? Is Alice really okay with her husband having sex with you? And OP responds, for sure, which is why I thought we would be getting doctors involved and hormone shots. I even compromised and offered to try it at home with a syringe if they really wanted. Last Resorts Suck says, this is insane. She thinks she's okay with it, but her stomach will turn when she realizes you slept together. Even if she doesn't, there's no guarantee you get pregnant on the first try. How many times until she does have a problem with it? How many nights of your life are you willing to devote to having what will most likely be pleasureless sex because it's not meant to be about fun or enjoyment? It's purely practical? What happens when you fall pregnant and she flips out and they decide they don't want the baby anymore? Or worse, she gets jealous enough that it breaks the marriage. Don't do this. Deleted says, talk to your sister privately. She's excited about having a baby, but is she going to resent you the rest of your life for having sex with her husband and giving birth to the child? That's something I would think through. And with what they are paying you, have they thought of using the money for adoption? And OP responds, I'm really not sure. My sister was the one who called me to explain their reasoning, why they didn't want to go via the IUI route, so I assume she is aware and okay with it? They already have 2 adopted kiddos who they spent a lot of money on already. I think Bob really wants biological children and my sister has caught the bug from him and really wants this chance to have her own baby that would look like her. I am willing to go through it for $200,000. It would give me and any other child I have in the future a much better life without having 40% of my pay go immediately to paying off debt. I thought I was mentally ready. I can treat the whole process as a tough job for 9 months and doing a huge favor for my sister, who I love dearly. But the thing I'm stuck on is having sex with Ben to conceive. OP's edit. Thank you. I see that I am completely out of my depth here and will be discussing with my sister about alternatives that don't include me carrying the baby. Not looking forward to that discussion though. Alright, well, the community did give OP some sense of what she has to do, and that is to bolt. So now let's move on with the first of 3 updates that OP has given us. All the comments on my previous post showed me that I am way too young, dumb, and ignorant with what I signed up with. I started researching actual lived experiences and I read so many horror stories that I've decided to not go ahead with being involved in any way, shape, or form with helping them have kids. In fact, I'm not even sure if I want to ever get pregnant after all those stories about 3rd and 4th degree tears, poop, miscarriages. I am clearly not in the right stage of life or maturity to even consider doing something of this magnitude. The difficult part was mustering up the courage to call my sister to tell her my decision. I really looked up to my sister and love her lots, and our family and religion has always been about helping others out where we can. When I called her to tell her, we had a short conversation at first where I basically said, sorry, can't do it, but that doesn't mean I love you any less. She seemed sad, but said she was happy to respect my decision, and I thought that was it. Then, just last night, sister and brother-in-law called me back over Zoom. My sister was crying and begged me to reconsider as both of them really wanted biological kids. Brother-in-law told me that they were really disappointed in me and hoped that I would find it within me to do this. When I told them my concerns, my brother-in-law just said pregnancy and motherhood is a beautiful and natural process and that I was made for this. I'm so glad I did this over video call instead of in person because I just hung up on them and faked having connection problems. I've been ignoring their texts so far and frankly, I don't know what else to say. But anyway, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for opening my eyes. Smiley face. Well done, OP. Doesn't matter how you do it, just get out of this thing. Also, I'm getting very big creepo vibes from your brother-in-law. Ew, what about you guys? You getting those vibes too? Anyways, let's move on with the next update. Leaving for the airport in a few hours to move across the country and I can't sleep. I plan to slowly phase out of contact with my family and community, even though I love the people in their lots. Long story short, I went over to Alice and Ben's house to visit their kids in May. While there, they asked me in person to reconsider my decision. Sometime during this, Ben started kissing me and groping me. I let him. I know typing this out makes me seem dumb for going over and weak, because I was. But I just froze and it was very difficult to say no in the moment, especially with my sister crying and Ben having quite a presence in person. Trust me, I have replayed the scenario so many times in my head, wishing I was stronger in that moment. Luckily, that was the extent of it and I was able to leave shortly after, because I don't know what I would have done otherwise. I also received, surprisingly, no support from my parents or my bishop regarding my earlier decision. I didn't tell anyone the recent event. I don't think they knew what Alice and Ben were asking me exactly, and I didn't bring it up either. I was already sort of an outsider for not really conforming to the usual lifestyle of being married with kids, but this still shocked me. All these things combined made me reevaluate my life. Working from home and having this much time alone has also given me a lot of time to think about things. I fell down the rabbit hole of reading stories of people who also left the church, and I want that life for me. So I've spent the last 3 months making arrangements, transferring to another part of my company, and today is the big day. I know it's not going to be easy. Pretending to be normal at the last Pioneer Day family gathering was the hardest thing I needed to do, but I did it for myself and for closure. But I'm going to get through this. Thank you for the advice and stay safe, everyone. Oh wow, OP, your brother-in-law is gross. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. But the good thing is that you got out and have made the right choice to leave them all behind. So now let's check a quick update OP made 1 year after leaving. My 1 year anniversary of leaving the mess that was my family behind me is coming. Dusting this old account off to keep a log that maybe I can look back on. It's a beautiful sunny day here, just feeling really grateful for life and all the opportunities I've had. Here's to the first year without them. Well, OP, congratulations on moving on and leaving them all behind you, particularly that icky brother-in-law of yours and your sister who was definitely somewhere else. In any case, all the best to you in the future, so take care and stay safe. And now, we move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user rduncanG. Ex-wife wants to itemize and split the cost of everything. So, my ex-wife and I used to have a great relationship, but she has become petty and somewhat vindictive these last couple of months. Our relationship started going downhill after her daughter, my ex-stepdaughter, broke into my house and stole from me and my new wife while we were on vacation together. Yes, I invited my ex-wife and her boyfriend to come on vacation with us, so it would be a family thing. My current wife was completely fine with it. Not only did we invite them, we paid for everything. Plane tickets, rental house, meals, activities, etc. We've done this before and it was nice. While we were on this vacation, my ex-wife's daughter broke into our house and stole from us. We had to file a police report because some of the things stolen was medication and we couldn't get a new prescription without filing a police report. This upset my ex-wife even though we told her before we called the police and she said, "Do what you need to do." Before this, my ex and I would pretty much just buy what the kids needed while we had them. Every once in a while, she'd ask me to split the cost of some things and I would. I have never asked her to split the cost of anything prior to this, but lately, she has been asking to split the cost of just about everything. Fine, whatever, I usually get most of the things for the kids anyway. About a month ago, my son needed some new equipment for indoor lax. She asked if I would split. I said fine. While she took him out shopping, they couldn't find everything, so I bought most of it online. I asked her what she bought and how much, and I told her what I bought and how much. It turned out she owed me for the split. It was only $40. I would have let it go, but she hounded me for a week over $5. This pissed her off. She'd be fine when I have to pay her, but gets pissed when she has to pay me. I only asked her for the portion of the split because she asked me to split the cost in the first place. We argued back and forth, and then she came up with a list of things we should not have to split and anything else we would split. So I started keeping track of things that I paid for that were to be split between us. So she gave me her list and what I owe her. Not a lot, I owe her $80. But when I gave her my list and her share, she now owes me $425. Well, OP, she wanted to split things and you split things, so here's the bill. As a side note, She started getting bitter because you filed a police report because her daughter broke into your house and stole from you? If I was her, I'd be more concerned with my daughter than being bitter at you. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Thanks for sharing, and now let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge, and it's by user OKCaterpillar2804. Dad got decade-long revenge on my auntie. A little setup. My dad is one of 9 children to my grandparents. When the oldest sister, my auntie, let's call her Margaret, got married, one of the gifts she received was 4 very poorly made clay pots from one of her friends who wasn't super close to the family. They were all very different from each other and didn't match at all. I assume they came out of a first-timers pottery class or something. Anyway, fast forward 15 years and my parents are getting married. Margaret shows up at the wedding, as does everyone else. The ceremony and reception pass with no dramas and everyone goes home. The following week, my parents begin to sort through all their wedding gifts, unwrap Margaret's to find a very old, worn-looking cardboard box with the old tape still underneath the new tape put on there by Margaret to hold the lid closed. Dad opens the box to see the 4 pots that had been given to Margaret 15 years prior. My parents knew this was a gift to Margaret originally because at the bottom of the box was a cord of "Congratulations on your wedding" addressed to Margaret. She hadn't even bothered to take the pots out of the box when she was gifted them or checked the condition when rewrapping them. This thoroughly pissed off my dad. Then his anger turned to determination as he started to develop a plan that would stretch almost a decade. With Christmas fast approaching, my dad rewrapped the pots in the same box with the same wedding card addressed to Margaret, essentially in the same condition he had received it in. He then wrote another card addressed to another of his siblings explaining his plan. He gave the present to the youngest of his siblings. The newer card explained that she was to hold on to the pots until the next Christmas, making sure to unwrap it and make sure that everyone could see the pots in one way or another. The card then explained to leave the wedding card in the box and not let anyone see it. My auntie would then hold on to the box, pots, and card until next Christmas. She would then gift them and my dad's note to the next sibling above her in age, my uncle. This cycle would repeat another 8 times until it reached the oldest sibling, Margaret. In my dad's letter, it instructed the last sibling before Margaret to not give her the letter written by him regarding the plan. 9 years after giving the gift away, my dad and all his siblings watched as she pulled out the pots that she had seen being passed around from sister to sister for the last decade. She then noticed the note still in the box. She opened it and a Category 4.2 earthquake was registered as her jaw hit the floor. Now, most people would expect her to erupt in rage, but Australians have some of the best senses of humor on the planet. The family all had a good chuckle about it and moved on to Christmas lunch. The pots are now separated, one going to my dad, one to Margaret and my grandparents, and the last being the trophy of the annual cricket game. It was sadly destroyed by a rogue ball in that very same yearly tournament and is now only half a trophy. Wow, OP, that was awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Your family definitely has patience when it comes to petty revenge. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.